Here's a question almost no one wants to admit they've Googled. Is oral stimulation of the female genital area dangerous for men? Today, we're clearing up the confusion once and for all, with real talk, zero fear-mongering, and a whole lot of common sense. Welcome to Prime Health Lab, the place where men come to reclaim strength, clarity, and confidence using simple, natural principles. Today's topic is one of those things everyone whispers about but almost nobody explains properly. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what's safe, what's not, and how to protect your physical and mental well-being. And hey, if you like conversations that help you live stronger and smarter, consider hitting that subscribe button. It keeps this space growing. Let's start with the foundation, because the number one reason guys get worried about this topic isn't danger, it's uncertainty. When you don't understand something clearly, the mind fills the gaps with worst-case scenarios. And honestly, most of those fears come from random online posts, myths passed around in locker rooms, or dramatic headlines designed to scare more than educate. So first things first, is oral stimulation of the female genital area inherently dangerous for men? The short answer is no. Not in the everyday sense. For the majority of healthy couples, it's a normal, safe, physically intimate activity. Nothing about the act itself is harmful to male physiology. There's no mechanism where it drains your testosterone, weakens your immune system, or throws off your hormones. In fact, closeness and connection with your partner tend to have the opposite effect. They support emotional balance, reduce stress, and can even boost your overall sense of vitality. But let's unpack this a little more deeply, because men deserve clarity, not vague reassurance. Think of it this way. Your mouth is simply another point of contact, like holding hands, kissing, or hugging. Anytime your body touches another person, there's some level of exposure to that person's natural bacteria. Your body is built to handle everyday exposures. Your immune system is not fragile. You're not a delicate machine that falls apart from a normal human interaction. Now, the only time safety becomes a real concern is if one of two things is going on. One, there's an existing infection. That could be something like an active cold sore on your mouth or an untreated sexually transmitted infection in your partner. These are specific scenarios, not everyday life, and they're not unique to oral sex. They apply to any intimate contact. Two, there's open irritation or cuts. If your mouth is irritated, maybe you just flossed aggressively or you bit your cheek, your skin barrier is temporarily weaker. Again, this isn't about danger, just awareness. Your body heals itself constantly, and most tiny cuts aren't a big deal. But if you want to be extra cautious, you simply wait until things feel normal again. And here's the part most men don't hear enough. Your emotional well-being matters just as much as the physical aspect. If you're anxious, worried, or feeling uncertain, your body goes into protective mode. Stress hormones go up. You start overthinking. That's why getting accurate information is important. Not because the act is dangerous, but because uncertainty can create stress, and stress can spiral into physical symptoms. Tight chest, low mood, foggy thinking, or that uncomfortable something's wrong feeling. So let's cut through the noise with something simple. If both partners are healthy, if you trust each other, and if you pay attention to your body with basic common sense, you're safe. This isn't some hidden health hazard for men. It's an intimate part of human bonding. Later in this video, we'll get into what can increase risks, what's actually worth paying attention to, and how men can support their long-term health in ways that help them stay strong, confident, and emotionally grounded. All right, now that we've cleared the fog around the basics, let's talk about what men actually need to know when it comes to safety. You'll notice the theme in this video is clarity, not fear. Because when you really understand something, your confidence goes up and the anxiety fades out. Let's start with the biggest problem, and that is misinformation. Men come across a headline that says something like, "Man gets sick after oral contact," and suddenly it feels like the whole world is dangerous. But what headlines don't tell you is context. They don't mention what else was going on. They don't talk about pre-existing conditions, and they definitely don't explain how rare those cases are. So let's break this into simple, everyday logic. Risk Category 1, Untreated Infections. This is the one everyone thinks of, so let's handle it clearly. If a partner has an untreated STI that can be transmitted through oral contact, then yes, that's something to take seriously. But notice what I said, untreated and capable of transmission through oral activity. This is not every infection, and it's not every situation. It's specific. A lot of infections require certain conditions to spread. Open sores, high viral load, active symptoms. It's not like you walk into a room and get hit by a wave of danger. Human bodies aren't that fragile. The real message here is communication and trust matter. If you're in a long-term relationship and both of you are healthy, the risk is extremely low. If you're in a new or casual situation, then being responsible is just part of being a grown man. Get checked. Ask questions. You're protecting not just yourself, but your future energy, vitality, and peace of mind. Risk Category 2, Inflammation or irritation in your own mouth. This is where men often overlook something simple. Your mouth is usually an excellent barrier, strong, resilient, protective. But if you've got a fresh cut, a bleeding gum, or a burning irritation, your natural shield is a little weakened. That doesn't suddenly create huge danger, but it does nudge the risk up a tiny bit. The fix is simple. If your mouth feels off, just take a break. Give it a day or two to heal. Your body is constantly repairing itself anyway. Risk Category 3, Rare cases with underlying conditions. This is where the scary headlines usually come from. Maybe someone had a compromised immune system. Maybe they were dealing with a severe, untreated infection already. Or maybe the case involved multiple factors at once, something the headline never explains. These scenarios are the exception, not the rule. They're not the norm for healthy men. Now, let's shift into myths, because honestly, myths cause more stress than actual health risks. One of the most ridiculous myths out there is that oral stimulation somehow lowers testosterone in men. Zero basis in reality. Intimacy, emotional closeness, physical bonding often supports hormone balance because it reduces stress. And stress, by the way, is one of the biggest hormone disruptors men deal with. Not intimacy, not closeness, not giving pleasure to your partner. Another myth? That men are somehow drained or weakened afterward. Again, no. If anything, physical touch and connection help men relax, unwind, and feel grounded. It's like hitting the reset button on your nervous system. You're not losing energy, you're exchanging it. There's also a myth that bacteria from the female genital area are inherently dangerous to men. Let's put this one to rest too. The vagina actually has its own ecosystem, mostly helpful, protective bacteria. These are not attack mode bacteria. They're part of a healthy body. And your body? It's designed to interact with the world. You're not made of glass. So what can men do to stay safe? It's honestly not complicated. Stay healthy. Keep your immune system supported with the basics: good sleep, good nutrition, regular movement, lower stress. Wash your hands. Pay attention to your body. Communicate with your partner. And if something feels off, soreness, irritation, or just a gut feeling, take a pause, not out of fear, but out of respect for your body and your relationship. Men who prioritize their health, physical and emotional, tend to approach topics like this with more confidence and less worry. That's because they understand that safety isn't about avoiding life. It's about staying informed and balanced. So the truth. Oral stimulation is not this hidden danger lurking in your relationship. It's an intimate moment between two people. The key is simply being aware, responsible, and tuned into your own body. Now that we've covered the basics and cleared up the myths, let's talk about what really gives men peace of mind, long-term confidence. Because the truth is, most men aren't just asking, "Is this dangerous?" They're asking, "How do I stay healthy, strong, and grounded in my relationships?" And that's where this conversation actually gets interesting. One of the most important things a man can do for his well-being, especially in intimate situations, is to deeply understand the connection between physical health, emotional balance, and confidence. These three things are not separate. They feed into each other. Let's start with something simple. When you feel physically strong, your energy is good, your sleep is solid, your digestion is smooth, your workouts feel consistent, your confidence rises naturally, your mind becomes calmer, you make decisions more clearly, stress doesn't stick to you as much, and intimacy feels safer and more enjoyable because you trust your body. But here's the surprising part. Intimacy itself often helps build this foundation. When men experience healthy closeness, whether it's physical touch, emotional connection, or open communication, their stress reduces, their nervous system relaxes, their muscles unclench, their breathing deepens. These are the things that help regulate hormones, keep anxiety low, and support long-term mental health. A lot of men don't realize how much emotional stress shows up physically. When you're tense or worried, you might feel it as tightness in the chest, stomach discomfort, headaches, or even low libido. Sometimes the fear around intimacy, like being unsure whether something is dangerous, is actually just anxiety wearing a medical mask. So the question becomes, how do you build a lifestyle where intimacy feels natural, safe, and affirming instead of stressful? The first step is communication. Real communication, not the bare minimum check-the-box conversations. This means talking openly with your partner about comfort, boundaries, and health. When you're both honest and relaxed, there's no more guessing game, no more worrying about hidden risks. When you know your partner's health status and they know yours, you eliminate the fear of the unknown, and that alone lowers stress levels dramatically. The second step is tuning into your body. Men often ignore physical signals until something becomes a problem, but your body gives you subtle hints all the time: a swollen gum, irritation, fatigue, lowered mood. These aren't red alarms, they're little nudges. Respecting those signals is part of long-term health. If your mouth feels irritated, rest it. If you're run down, sleep more. If you're stressed, take a break from stimulation and focus on grounding yourself. The third step is building daily habits that support your immune system and general well-being. You don't need extreme supplements or complicated routines. It comes down to simple, consistent practices. Good sleep, that's when your immune system resets. Whole foods, because your gut health drives your immune response and emotional balance movement. Even 20 minutes a day improves circulation and reduces inflammation. Hydration. Your body can't protect itself if it's running dry. Stress reduction, meditation, deep breathing, quiet walks, whatever works for you. These basics keep your immune system strong enough to handle everyday life, including intimacy. And then there's the psychological side. Men who feel secure and grounded in themselves tend to worry far less about intimacy. They're not scanning for danger, they're not overthinking, they're present. And presence is one of the strongest signals of a healthy nervous system. Think about it this way. When you're calm and confident, your body is in rest and restore mode. That mode is where healing happens. Good digestion, good hormonal balance, good sleep, good mood, intimacy, including oral stimulation, naturally fits into that environment because your body feels safe. Another piece of long-term confidence is understanding your boundaries. Just because something is safe doesn't mean you have to engage in it if you're not comfortable. Confidence isn't about doing everything. It's about making choices from a calm place, not a fearful one. If you ever feel uncertain, tired, mentally off, or stressed, you're allowed to step back. Healthy intimacy is built on mutual ease. When both partners feel comfortable and relaxed, the entire experience becomes healthier, physically and emotionally. Here's the bottom line. True safety isn't just about avoiding risks. It's about living in a way where your body and mind feel resilient. When you care for your health, communicate openly, and manage stress, intimacy becomes something that nourishes you, not something that worries you. And when you approach intimate moments with confidence, knowledge, and emotional grounding, that's when you rise into your strongest self, physically, mentally, and relationally. Before we wrap up, let's bring this back to a simple truth. Your health, physical, mental, and emotional, works as one system. When you understand your body, when you communicate openly with your partner, when you take care of your stress, and when you make choices from a grounded place instead of fear, intimacy becomes something that strengthens you, not something that worries you. You now know the real risks, the myths, and the everyday logic that keeps men safe. You know how to listen to your body, how to keep your immune system strong, and how to stay confident in moments that truly matter. And honestly, that confidence, that calm sense of understanding, is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. If this video helped you feel clearer, stronger, or more grounded, I'd love to have you here with us at Prime Health Lab. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you don't miss the next deep dive. This channel is all about helping men build real strength from the inside out. Take care of yourself, stay steady, and I'll see you in the next one.
Prime Health Lab is dedicated to men's internal health. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.